There are three branches of this topic we will explore. Then we will explore the answer to the question, what does God do? The three branches are the principle, the definition, and the result. Number 1, the principle. In Hebrews 13:18, it says Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It reminds something deep in me refuses to believe that the God who I've grown to know through his word and personal experience allows things, especially bad and harmful things, to happen to his children. It's like a parent in being in the same room and allowing their child to get burned on a stove. The parent may have warned the child not to touch the stove. They may have stepped away for a moment, and once they saw the child reaching for the stove, let out a blood-curdling scream, "Stop!" But the child didn't stop and got burned. Just because the parent was there doesn't mean they allowed it. God remains the same and interacts consistently with all of his children. So why should it be inconceivable that he allow harmful things in my life and yet be acceptable doctrine in the lives of my brothers and sisters? Number 2, the definition. Now, let's take a look at definitions, dictionary and biblical, of the word allow. Let's start with the dictionary definition because it will contribute to our study of the scriptural definition. According to dictionary.com, 3 parts of the definition of allow include, number 1, giving someone permission to do something, and synonyms for that would be authorize, sanction, and enable. Number 2, admit that an event or activity is legal or acceptable. And number 3, admit the truth of, concede. Synonyms are agree, accept, grant. These excerpts from the dictionary definition are consistent with the manner in which most people use the word allow. It's also consistent with the way the word is used in the Bible. So, when someone says God allows blank, for example, the harmful thing, they are saying God gives permission, God admits it's acceptable, God agrees and accepts it, and or God grants it. To bring home this point, let's use some of these synonyms to highlight what people are saying in real-life circumstances. God gave that murderer permission to kill that innocent child. God is admitting that that woman's car accident is acceptable. God agrees that I should get sick. Do you see why the notion God allows doesn't sit well with me? Now, the word allow in all its forms, allowed, allowing, allows, etc., is used throughout the scripture. The use of the word can be broken into 2 categories, man said and God said. Under God said, the second category, God said man allows, God said man did should not allow, God said of himself, I, God, allow, God said of himself, I, God, has, did, should not allow. Since the study is focused on the last 2 contexts, God said of himself, I, God, allow, and God said of himself, I, God, has, did, should not allow, we will talk about those 2 occurrences of scripture in those 2. The only occurrences of these 2 contexts that I found in the Amplified and New International Version, or NIV, of the scripture are as follows. God said of himself, I, God, allow. In Genesis 9:16, God said, but indeed, for this very reason I have allowed you to live, in order to show you my power, and in order that my name may be proclaimed throughout all the earth. In Jeremiah 13:14, God said, I will smash them one against the other, parents and children alike, declares the Lord. I will allow no pity or mercy or compassion to keep me from destroying them. God said of himself, I, God, must, has, did, will not allow. In Genesis 3:22, the Lord said, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. In Psalms 89:33, the Lord said, nevertheless, I will not break off my loving kindness from him, nor allow my faithfulness to fail. In the New Testament, under the new covenant, through Christ, under which all Christians live, I have not found any instance in which God said of himself, I allow or will not allow. I repeat, in the New Testament, under the new covenant, through Christ, under which all Christians thankfully live, there is no instance of God allowing things to happen in the lives of believers. This is monumental. It does not occur. But I stand to be corrected. If you see an occurrence of God allowing things to happen mentioned in the New Testament, please send me a note.